Wow, stuff swirling around Jeffrey Epstein lately, right?
It's been quite something.
Yeah, I mean, just recently you had Attorney General Pam Bondi saying,
Breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
That definitely got people's attention.
it sure did. And then President Trump weighs in, sounding, well, pretty exasperated.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years.
People still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
Quite a reaction.
It really was. And that whole exchange just set off this firestorm, particularly in some conservative circles. So that's our job today. Let's try to cut through all the speculation, the politics, everything, and figure out what these recently unsealed court documents, the flight logs, victim testimonies, what do they actually tell us about Epstein's network? At the center of this whole predatory world was his private island, Little St. James.
Yeah.
Can you picture it? Like 72 acres just off St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Villas, pools, helipad, the works.
Yeah, the whole setup. It got called Pedophile Island, didn't it? Eventually sold in May 2023 for, what, $60 million?
That's right.
And that remote location, I mean, Epstein had total control over who got on or off. That was key to his crimes, wasn't it? Victims talked about feeling totally trapped.
Absolutely. Their only way out was either helicopter or boat, as some described it. That isolation was part of the mechanism of control.
And getting there often involved Epstein's private jets, the ones infamously nicknamed the Lolita Express.
Right. They'd fly into St. Thomas, and then his company, Hyperion Air, used helicopters to shuttle people, including young women and underage girls, to Little St. James itself.
There were even testimonies, weren't there, from air traffic controllers,
Yeah.
saying they saw Epstein with girls who looked really young, like preteen.
Yeah, those accounts are chilling. It paints a picture of a system built on isolation, wealth, and just a complete disregard for human beings.
Okay, let's step away from that for a second and look at the records themselves. Who is actually connected based on the concrete evidence? The flight logs from the Lolita Express seem like a key source.
They are. They give us documented proof of association, of travel, sometimes to the island, sometimes elsewhere. But, and this is so important, just being on a flight log doesn't mean you were involved in the crimes.
Right. The reasons for being on that plane could be totally different.
Exactly. People like Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker. The logs themselves sometimes note humanitarian trips as the purpose for their travel with Epstein.
Okay, so let's look at those logs. Who stands out?
Well, unsurprisingly, Jeffrey Epstein himself is on there the most. Over 1,000 flights. His alleged number 2, Ghislaine Maxwell, over 500. That's the core.
Pretty early.
After them, it drops off quite a bit. Sarah Kellen, the massage scheduler, she's on about 350 flights. Jean-Luc Brunel, the modeling agent accused of recruiting girls, he's on 34 flights. He later died by suicide.
Okay. What about the really big names?
Bill Clinton flew 26 times, mostly early 2000s. Destinations listed include places like China, Russia, Africa for those humanitarian trips, reportedly. His office strongly denies he knew anything about Epstein's crimes, and Maxwell's legal team actually claimed an FBI report found Clinton didn't visit Little St. James itself.
Interesting distinction. Flew with him, but maybe not to the island. What about Alan Dershowitz?
12 flights listed for him. He was Epstein's lawyer. There are allegations in the documents about Epstein forcing a minor to have sex with him, which Dershowitz vehemently denies.
Okay. Chris Tucker, Kevin Spacey.
Both on 11 flights associated with those Africa humanitarian trips. No accusations of wrongdoing against them in these specific records. Naomi Campbell, 4 international flights, not accused of helping Epstein.
Prince Andrew.
4 flights listed 1999, 2000, 2006. He faces very serious sexual assault allegations linked to Epstein, denied them, but settled a major lawsuit.
Larry Summers.
3 flights with his wife. No accusations there.
And Donald Trump.
He's listed on just one flight log way back in 1997. It was between Palm Beach and Newark. Now, there have been conflicting reports mentioning his name appearing like 7 times in passenger lists elsewhere, so there's some discrepancy in the data floating around.
That one flight versus 7 times discrepancy really shows how messy the data can be. Circling back to that client list idea, why does it stick around so much, even with official denials?
Well, I think it's partly because of those initial high-profile suggestions, like Bondi's comments, and partly because people want a simple answer, a neat list of villains. But the reality, as the DOJ and FBI confirmed, is that no single definitive Jeffrey Epstein client list like that exists.
It's a mosaic, like you said, names scattered across court files, flight logs, testimony.
Exactly. It's pieced together from legitimate sources. And because it comes out in fragments and because public expectation was set so high, maybe partly by those initial comments, it just fuels more speculation and, frankly, mistrust when a single list doesn't materialize.
But here's where it gets really, really interesting and maybe frustrating for people seeking answers. The unreleased stuff.
Yes. The DOJ's statement from July 2025. No further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted regarding other evidence they have.
And what is that other evidence, reportedly?
It reportedly includes, quote, more than 10,000 videos and images that officials said depicted child sex abuse material or other pornography. The existence of this massive stash was even confirmed by Epstein's own estate in related civil cases.
10,000 videos and images of CSAM. And the DOJ says no further disclosure.
And crucially, this material was not used in the criminal indictments against either Epstein or Maxwell.
Wait, 10,000 videos not used in court? How does that even happen?
That's the question fueling so much criticism and suspicion, right? Especially among conservative groups, but really anyone concerned about accountability. Why hold on to that potential evidence? Why wasn't it relevant to the charges brought? It raises huge questions about the investigation, prosecutorial decisions, and whether the full extent of the criminality was pursued.
It definitely impacts public trust. Makes people wonder if there's a cover-up, or at least not the full story being told.
Precisely. It leaves this enormous cloud of uncertainty hanging over everything.